Chris, are we on?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna call the School District of Bayfield Board of Education meeting to order at 6 p.m. on this day, May 13th, 2019. Can we have roll call, Linda?
Cindy Garrity.
Here.
Nicole Boyd.
Here.
Glenn Carlson.
Here.
Debbie Knopf.
Here.
Larry Derrigan.
Here.
Craig Footman.
Here.
Rocky Silverman.
Can we please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is that Vice President's duty now?
Linda, can you confirm the meeting postings?
Yes, I can confirm that tonight's meeting was posted at all the designated locations.
We are looking for an approval of the agenda. Are there any changes needed?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Craig, second by Larry. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. From our audience, we have first Sarah Trudeau. If you would come to the microphone, please. Thanks.
Hello, Sarah here. The first thing I'd like to discuss is the Point School Committee. I gave you the minutes for that meeting that we held on April 29th. I didn't necessarily feel I needed to touch on anything on the minutes other than Glenn just clarifying with me that the playground or the grounds that got messed up when the water pipe work was done, the town has said that they are fixing, they are the responsible party, they are fixing it. So that is that. And then I wanted to tell you that on May 23rd, the Bayfield School PTCO met for the first time, the Parent Teacher Community Organization.
April?
April 23rd.
April 23rd.
May 23rd.
It's
Well,
me.
that's the next meeting. Beth was there. On April 30th, I'm sorry. So that's happening and it's awesome and we have big hopes and we're excited to see what role it'll play at the school, and it's gonna, I think, really aim up toward parental involvement, getting parents involved and putting on maybe events. I don't know. It's gonna be, I'm excited. And that's it.
Can you say what PTCO is for those that may not know?
Yes, Parent Teacher Community Organization for the Bayfield School.
Parent-teacher community or parent-teacher
Is that what I
community?
said?
I think so,
Parent-teacher
right?
community.
Parent Teacher Community
Okay.
Organization.
Thanks, Sarah.
Yeah.
From our audience, we also have Eric Iverson. Mr. Iverson?
I'm here. I probably don't need to use a microphone, but greetings to the school board and administration. For the last 2 years, a group of teachers has been studying the Bayfield School attendance data and working to address Bayfield School's chronic absentee issue. That group will be hosting a community listening session at 5 p.m. on June 5th at Legendary Waters. The session is open to all community members, and Red Cliff Tribal Council will be present and in session. The group would like to invite any and all school board members to attend the event as well, and flyers advertising the event will be posted soon. If the school board would be interested in including this listening session as part of the strategic planning process with Kevin Strandberg, we would welcome that opportunity.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Eric, I have a question. Do you see the board participating as those giving feedback at that session, or will there be separate session for the board for attendance listening sessions?
That's a
What
good
do you see our
question.
capacity as?
I'll talk with Rick and other members of the group and find find out, but I would think so, yes. I would be leaning towards you being included in discussion.
Okay.
Okay?
Do we have anything else from the audience? We're going to move on to the approval of our school board minutes, April 22nd, 2019, regular school board meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Motion by Debbie and second by Cindy. All those in favor?
Aye.
Mo- Opposed? Motion carries. Next on our agenda are communications reports. We have Provost Geraldine Berg from LCO College, who will be explaining our dual credit options. Please come up front.
Hello, everyone.
Hi.
My name is Lisa Munive. I'm the Dean of Academic Affairs at the LCO Community College, and I do apologize. Our Provost Geraldine Berg is not able to be here today. I do have Trish Henning here. She's our curriculum specialist. She's going to pass out a couple folders for you to review some information. So again, my name is Lisa Munive. I have some other colleagues with me here as well. I'd like to introduce James Pete. He is the site director at our Redcliffe location. And I also have Jimmy White, who is our recruiter.
Thank you.
All right, so for those of you who aren't familiar with our college, the Bucureo Ojibwe Community College, we have 5 locations. So we have a campus in Hayward. We also have a site in Redcliffe, Bad River, Dr. Flambeau, and St. Croix. Now the move to Bad River and Redcliffe was just recent. We were housed in Washburn, and about 2 semesters ago, we came back into the community because we really see the importance of being in these communities and strengthening our tribal communities. Now, although we are a tribal community college, we are open to everyone, so you don't have to be tribally enrolled to take college classes with us. All right, currently, you guys, Beth Papp, who is amazing, thank you for all your hard work. She is teaching, she has taught Intro to Higher Education, and currently teaching EDC 112, which is our speech course. And we are looking to offer, again, in the fall, Intro to Higher Education, and in the spring, speech, but we're also looking to increase our offerings. We have some language courses available, many different options, as you can see in your folder. Those are the current options we have available for our dual enrollment. So anything there students would be able to take. So if you have any questions about any of those courses you see there, we do have a summer and a fall schedule in there for dual enrollment. You guys have any questions for me?
Can I just add to this a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Being a grandmother, and my eldest granddaughter is doing the early college program in Minneapolis. She's actually working on her associate's degree, so she'll graduate from high school with an associate's degree and a high school diploma, which puts her 2 steps ahead, right? We are not there yet as far as being able to offer an associate's degree. What we can offer is that many of these classes will ladder into that associate's degree, which is really advantageous to your students, saves a lot of money and a lot of time, right? Plus, they're in a comfortable place. They're happy here. They feel good about their teachers and what's happening with them. And I think that's really an important piece of this early college credit program. So in the package, you'll see the classes that are available. If you have classes that you really think should be made available, I know Beth mentioned creative writing when we were up in the hall. That's more than a possibility for us to look at and add in.
Mm-hmm.
So this is in addition
Questions?
to our WITC, our Northland, our college that we've traditionally had, but now we also have
In-house.
this option.
In-house.
That's great, okay.
Just have a quick question, a couple. So, in the past, when we've had kids go on to post-secondary, do we have any articulation agreements with 4-year colleges? And, or the 2-year credits? No, they're gonna be taking speech here and others. are those credits transferable to UW Superior, to other universities? Because that's a big question we always have at the
Yes.
school.
In fact, we've been working very hard on articulation and transfer agreements. I think it's Thursdays, at least when it says Scholastica is there to sign, and UW-Madison is the next week. But yes, all those pieces are in place. Lisa, you transferred from LCO to
I did. So
UW Superior.
I started in the Human Services program at LCO College, went on to UW Superior for my bachelor's in social work, and on to UW Oshkosh. Seamless transfer, accepted every course that I took at LCO College. So yes, definitely. I'm looking at other two-year colleges, but definitely the UW system, some of the schools in Minnesota as well. So definitely transfer.
UMD Duluth.
Northland took out most of my credits too.
And I do have to apologize, Magdalene Dale is our new, she is the site assistant at Red Cliff now. She's about 3 weeks now, so brand new, and she's been doing some amazing work with the students out there, so.
Well, Bushu, I just wanted to add a couple of things that's kind of local.
Just for the people that are listening online so that they can hear.
Hello, online people.
Thank you, sir.
Do you have to turn it on or something?
I think we can hear you, Jim.
Hello again. Just to bring this dual enrollment a little bit local, I'm going over to Morris, Minnesota on Saturday because my granddaughter Alexis is graduating with her bachelor's degree at 19 years old. And she attended up in Big Fork, Minnesota, and then went to Itasca Community College. So 2 years ago on a Friday, she got her associate's degree. The next Friday, she got her high school diploma and was able to go right into college. And so when I heard this possibility of happening, it's something that's really warranted and available. What also makes it nice is that with the college moving back into Bad River and the Red Cliff communities, it provides, that local access and availability of resources that are there. There was a lot of challenges, going over to Washburn with transportation and childcare and scheduling. And so we're by the cabin out by the gas station. And so got a lot of the internet stuff there. The Zoom classes come in, the instructors are down different places, but they can take them there as well as having on-site. Also, throughout 4 nights of the week, we have the Ojibwe language that's offered for approximately 2 hours. So that it gives another opportunity to tie into some of the cultural things that we have.
So when I was a student at Bayfield, my senior year, I did a full course load at Northland College through what it was called Youth Options then, which is now just last year converted to the Early College Credit Program. After I graduated, so I played sports at Bayfield, but I really just took all college classes. And it was the best stepping stone. After that, I went to Overland College, which is a pretty elite college, and I think I would have been really overwhelmed at that college if I hadn't had the experience of doing youth options in high school. Last year, I'm in a position with WEA, working with talent search students at Bayfield. I think some people are familiar with that. So I worked with a lot of Bayfield students, also Ashland High School students, and I would always encourage them to take advantage of youth options if they had the grades and were in a position where they could take on that challenge. But to be able to take college classes while you're still living in your community, embraced by your community, you have the support of your family, you're not going through the transitions of living away from home and taking college classes at the same time. You can start by taking college classes, and then if you want to go off to college, you already kind of have that under your belt and you have some confidence. When I was working with Bayfield students last year, though, while a lot of Ashland students do take advantage of youth options because Northland's right there, WITC, they just walk across the parking lot. When I talk to Bayfield students and I'd say, you should do this, you have the grades, you have the drive, like you want this education, this is a great stepping stone, it's free. And they would just come up with excuses, and I think a lot of it was just being shy about getting onto that, like going to Northland, like it felt intimidating. And then the transportation piece too, and then also how do you fit it in with your class schedule here. So I think those are 3 challenges that we should think about, and with LCO back at Red Cliff, there's so much to offer. The fact that they can start at LCO while still staying in the high school by taking classes with Beth. Already at like a sophomore or junior, they could be taking her classes trying out a college class. By their senior year, they could be taking a full load at LCO at the cabin, and now they're still in the community. They can still get out of class in time to get over here for baseball practice or whatever they're doing. It doesn't disrupt their like senior year. You know, I remember that conflict myself. There was high school classes that I wanted to take, but I couldn't fit them in with my Northland schedule, so I said, okay, I'm just gonna take the full load, and I do not regret that at all. And at the same time, at least I was still able to play soccer, I was able to compete in track, and I was able to graduate with my class and walk with my class, so I think that, I just wanna make sure that,
Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there any questions from the board? Thank you all for the information.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time. Thank you for coming up north. Ms. Swanson and Ms. Gieswagen are up next with our Supportive Climate Strategic Plan pillar.
Just an update, Missy went home sick. I'm gonna stand over here because I think I might be getting it. So she wanted me to mention that the elementary school did earn the 1819 Wisconsin Title I School of Recognition Beating the Odds Award. Missy and Angela will be going down to Madison to accept that award and do the photo op to bring the awards back to us. Other supportive climate things we've been working on, Coast Guard families. I contacted the Coast Guard just to touch base and let them know who to contact if they wanted tours of the school or information about the school. I did hear there was some new families coming this year. He informed me there are 8 new families coming. So I gave them all the information for elementary connections here, middle school, high school connections, and then offered tours before they committed to schools to welcome them to the community. And we've done this now with 2 different families, and Randy and Lori put together nice welcome packages after the tour just to share with the families. And I believe the ones that we've given the tours to are enrolling here next year, so that's bonus. Summer school, we have a partnership with the rec center for swimming lessons and martial arts. Until yesterday, I thought I only had 2 kids signed up for the entire summer school program, and I was panicking. But Lucy had a pile downstairs she just was waiting to give to me, so the numbers are going up today. It's really, some of them are maxed out already, so that's a good thing. And our teacher appreciation was last week. We handed out gifts on Friday. We kept waiting for the perfect day for teachers to be here. For Lucy and I to be able to work it in their schedule, and we still miss some teachers who are gone for workshops, so we'll continue handing out gifts as we see those teachers. I just wanted to make sure we recognize them, because a few teachers who weren't here Friday were wondering why they didn't get gifts. But we have them still for them, we just haven't gotten it to them.
Thank you.
Thanks, Shelley.
Shelley.
8.1, are there any communication or reports from myself or members of our board? I don't have anything, but I sure will say thank you to Craig for all the work he's done as the board president. It's a lot. It's been quite the whirlwind of the last month. So thanks, Craig.
Thanks for taking
having
on
some
the
big
job.
shoes to fill.
I like
Thank you.
sitting right here.
I had a follow-up comment to Sarah's report from the LaPointe School. One of the things that I spoke fairly passionately about when we were hiring the guidance counselor was wanting to make sure that that guidance counselor was also at the LaPointe School on a regular basis. And I don't know if that, I don't believe that's happened yet. And so I'd like to make sure that I'll be the squeaky wheel, if need be, to make sure that that is put in place, so it's a regular part of her job. Okay?
Yeah.
So that's my comment.
Thanks. 8.1.1, are there any future agenda items? Eight 8.1.2, the Finance Committee. We met last Thursday. We covered a few things, vouchers, the roofing bids that came in last Friday. Glenn, do you?
Invoices,
Yeah.
we did talk a little bit about the issue that's on 10.2.3, the wind sled ownership request, and decided we didn't have enough information yet to act on that. And so we are going to suggest when we get to that item that we table that till the next meeting.
Also the TAP program.
Yes, and that, yes, that
Yeah.
we're going to, the after-school program, the state did not deem to fund us for this coming year. They have 10 of the last 11 years, I guess. And so we're hoping that this is just a kind of protocol that they use. You go 10 years and you miss a year, and then hopefully we'll get another 10 years. But what that'll mean is that the district, instead of assuming that we want to continue this program, and I think the Finance Committee was of the opinion that it was worthwhile, that it'll represent a $60,000 contribution by the school this next year instead of what has been a $10,000 contribution. Is that fair?
Yeah, that's correct. It was a $50,000 grant award through DPI. And then the school contributed to $10,000. And now we're looking at the school to, Randy's working on the projection of it, and hopefully next month we'll have those numbers. But it'll be a $60,000 addition to the budget that we will put within the preliminary budget numbers. So it won't be an additional dollar amount, it'll be within the preliminary budget.
Okay, great. And I think that was pretty much it.
Policy Committee?
Policy Committee did meet. We did discuss a little bit about the Neola series, 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, and that'll be coming up for our first reading here. That was it.
Wellness Committee, we meet next Tuesday, I believe.
There's a
Or
conflict
this
with-
Tuesday. Tomorrow.
I
Yeah,
think that's right.
tomorrow. I still think it's last week. And Missy's heading that. 8.2 reports.
I move that we accept the reports 8.2.1 through 8.2.7 as presented.
Second.
Motion by Glenn, second by Debbie. Is there any discussion?
Yes, there's no reports whatsoever on athletic.
That is correct.
We'll just note that there were 0 reports. Did Shelley leave? Shelley, I just had a question about, in your report you mentioned a focus point meeting. What's that gonna be? I think you talked about it with ACP, and then you mentioned there's gonna be focus point meetings.
The teachers in the high school want a more definite what are we doing each month for ACP. And so they want to meet each month for the new school year to set, here's what our focus is this month for each grade level. So we're kind of sort of creating the sequence and what builds upon each grade level as we go on. Because right now, we're doing academic group planning as a whole, and a lot's happening everywhere, but not in any true formal sequence and building on the previous piece. So I think just having that focus point of here's what we're doing. Stacy Peterson, Karen Perry, Kathy Smith are all really great teachers right now trying to organize things. And who will collect those to make sure things are being done each month for ACP.
Thanks.
I had a comment about the Randy's finance manager report and the use of the frontline system. And I guess I'm just following up on, I think I put this as a future agenda item last month about how to what do I say, manage the absenteeism, whether it's for illness or for so many conferences and workshops, that we are so, we have so many substitutes all the time in the building, and I think that's not only a concern for cost to our district, because we're paying, a lot of times we're paying teachers for that time as well as a substitute, but I also think it relates to positive school climate. and how students respond to a variety of substitutes versus having their own significant, consistent teacher. And I guess through policy, I'd like to continue to look at that, and I'm hoping Frontline can help with manage some of those numbers. I think we really need to get a handle on that. I really do. So.
Glad you brought that up, Deb. That was my exact, I'm really glad you hit on that. That was my concern too, because there was a day recently where there was 20-plus people out of the building at one time.
Friday.
And like last year, when you look at it's thousands of dollars per year in substitutes. And I understand people have issues, and that's one thing, but, as far as, stuff where it's being approved for people to be out of the building, and definitely through policy, I think it should be set where there can only be so many people out of the building on any given day to do certain things.
Or you only have so many workshops. You have to select your priority in conferences or workshops. You can't go to everything, because it's really, I believe seriously that it affects our climate as well as our finances.
Oh, absolutely. It's continuity. The people and the staff and the students want to feel like, you have the same people, and it's a huge swing from week to week.
Yeah.
And not just that, the financial end of it. It's a ton of money.
I think too, we're talking about students being here every day. We have to really make our staff here.
Yep.
Oh, absolutely. We have chronic absenteeism when we're telling these kids your butt needs to be in the seat.
Well, let's
So
model
that's
it
the
then.
same thing.
It has to be modeled,
Yeah.
So,
Thanks, Debbie. We
you.
had a motion from Glenn and a second by Debbie to approve the reports. All in favor?
Aye.
aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. 9.1, the approval of our vouchers.
I will move that we pay vouchers as listed in the amount of a total of $448,387.34.
Motion by Glenn, second by Cindy. Can we have a roll call, please, Linda?
Cindy Garrity,
Yes.
Nicole Boyd,
Yes.
Glenn Carlson.
Yes.
Deb Knopf,
Yes.
Larry Derrigan,
Yep.
Frank Wilczek.
Yes.
We'll move on to unfinished business. 10.1.1, approve roof RFP bid.
Randy and Dave?
And we had our team open them on Friday afternoon, right? Our sealed bids were open.
Yes, the lowest bid is what John Brazina suggesting that we do. That was with the commercial roof company.
We only have two bids.
Randy and Dave, if I may just direct the board, this is a form that you received tonight, and the two are listed on there from the bids from last Friday. We opened at 2 p.m.
Thank you.
And where are those in here?
It's right there, it's that narrative.
top, right here.
And that's the
Right.
paper, but here are the bids. This is the first bid. And then
This is the second
keep
bid?
going.
Oh.
Keep going.
That's what I mean, there's so many pages here.
That's,
It's
keep
hard
going.
to, oh, gee.
That starts the second.
Okay, got it.
Here's commercial roofing. They're on Clover.
Clover?
I did call, I didn't know anything about them, so I called, got references. Everybody can't say enough about them, from new construction to old construction. They're the tops.
All right.
Thank you.
Can't say enough about them.
And that's also who John Gerzina recommended
Well,
recently, or?
well, I don't think he really knew them.
We didn't know, but he was saying, looking at the bids, they're very comparable and going with the lower.
Or,
bid.
okay.
He felt
Yeah, they
that-
put 100 mil roofing, a Carlisle roofing on it, which only Carlisle or only approve so many people to put that roofing on because they want to keep their name. So this is one of the companies.
Great.
Instead of 60 mil, they went with 100 mil. Doesn't go by plot, it goes by name.
Which it should, just from the ice damage.
Yeah. And that's another thing we're going to address.
And that bid does include the rec centers.
Yeah, and there is.
Oh, nice.
Motion approved.
Second.
Isaac called me.
We have a motion by Cindy and a second by Larry. Can we have a roll call, please, Linda?
Cindy Garrity,
Yes.
Nicole Boyd,
Yes.
Glenn Carlson,
Yes.
Deb Canal,
Yes.
Larry Garrigan,
Yes.
Craig Wilson.
Yes.
Motion carries. 10.1.2, approve Neola Series 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. And this will be our first reading. Jeff?
So we sent everyone the link a week or so ago, and for those of you who didn't get in the online platform yet, we made hard copies for you tonight. Thank you. We made hard copies for you tonight to take with you. This is the first reading. And what you have in front of you is a
Birch tree.
presentation from last summer when the policy committee, Stephanie at the time, Cindy, Nicole, Sheila, and myself, I attended 2 of them. We had 4 meetings, and really Nicole and Cindy and Stephanie went through all of the series in front of you, including the 6 others that we'll look at next month and the month after. And they went through and vetted them with Chris Vitrino from Hurley. And they went through and they line item, they struck things out, they added things, they did their additions. So what you have in front of you is the completed version, the first draft version from the policy committee. So the goal tonight then is to approve the first reading. It'll give you, the members, the opportunity before the next board meeting, to bring back with your comments, your additions, and then what we can do at the next meeting is approve the second reading with your any recommendations. Now, there's a lot there, so, you know, but I'll tell you this, and I'm hoping Nicole and Cindy can explain it maybe better than I can. They spent the summer doing this. And we, you know, it was the policy committee that went through line item with Chris. So it's well vetted.
Thank you.
And there's things that were crossed out, and there were things that were added that were from our existing policies that
okay.
Chris would go back and add in.
Okay.
And there was a lot of good conversation. There was a lot of long nights, but
Wow.
it was very
A lot
good.
of work.
And this will all be available through our board docs and through online once that's active as well.
So we need a motion to approve so that we can take them.
The first reading.
Okay, motion to approve the first reading.
Second?
Motion by Debbie to approve, second by Craig. All those in
Nicola,
favor?
One
Oh,
question first.
Yes.
I see where there are crossouts, I assume.
That was the additions, the edits that the policy committee went through with Chris.
So those were the things that were taken out. How would we know what things were added?
So in the online version, when you sign in board docs, it shows up green.
Okay,
The
thanks.
original text is black and the
Great.
scratch outs are red, and then the additions were green.
Okay,
Okay.
great, thank you.
What if there's anything that's been crossed out that you feel needs to be kept in? That's what we need to
Okay,
do.
sure, thanks.
Mr. Plansky's here. He ordered the Chromebooks for you, your new computers. And what we'd like to do for you, if you have any issues or concerns about the platform or the program, we want to offer you a chance to come to the school, work with Chris or myself or Linda, Randy, who's ever here. We'll go to the conference room and we'll just go through them. We'll take the Chromebook out, we'll get you in on your link, and we'll give you, your password, your login password, and then we can practice. And the goal would be the month of July, not next month, but the month of July, we're gonna go full, no more paper. Everything will be on your,
So at one point you had said something about coming in an hour early or something?
we
but
can.
that would-
It's really up to you. If you wanna do it
Okay.
individually or a group, we could do that.
And they'll be available in July or June?
Chris, the new computers, the Chromebooks will be in,
They're here.
they're here.
I have to prep them. The 4 that are in your office are ready to go.
So we have some in my office now. If you want to take one home now, you can use it. If you want to come in here, Chris and I can set up with the principal or whoever a session for you.
Okay.
I guess, would you want to do it as a group, individually? If you want extra?
Yeah, something to think about, I don't know.
I was able to get in, finally.
You were.
to
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Okay, so
So,
once you're in there, it's pretty.
yeah.
So what's good for you?
I'm around every day.
I'll see you at 10 tomorrow.
All right.
Everybody all right? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Motion carries. 10.1.3, Education Collaboration Steering Committee.
You got clarification.
We had asked for history on that, and we got one. Would anyone read that, please? Debbie, you want to read that?
I can read it.
Thank you.
So this is from Bob Nelson, and he said, "I was appointed by then Superintendent of Wisconsin Schools, Elizabeth Burmaster, in 2007, I think, and later appointed again by Tony Evers. The group was represented by school board members of northern Wisconsin schools and state legislators, and met at the will of the superintendent to discuss a variety of small school issues. I was involved for 2 to 3 years. Frank Cohn from the South Shore District served at the same time. The board committee was more of a subcommittee related to this effort." So, is there still any support for that from any of the other districts? Do we know?
Right now, it's not in our
It's
current
not in.
language. So I go to a PAC meeting every month at CISA 12,
Mm-hmm.
and it's not in our discussion.
Okay.
I could bring it up if the board wishes to, but
Otherwise, we can just take it out for now. Maybe, I don't know.
And it's a subcommittee.
Of whatever that larger
Yeah.
group was. And so if that larger group doesn't exist, then what's the point of having a
Right.
subcommittee?
Let's do away with it.
Yep.
Or maybe that
Unless
should be a
something
future
comes up.
agenda item to actually formally, I don't know if we can do that right now or not, but
yeah, it's listed on a committee, on the board appointment.
Yeah, I remember
should-
it being something, a venue to talk about some of the things that were happening legislatively that were impacting our districts. So, at that time, there seemed like there were some things that were changing. Now, we're kind of waiting to see where we are this time, but. So do we want a motion, or what do we want to do? What's your?
I think we could take action if the board wanted to. It's on the agenda.
I'll make the motion to remove it.
Remove it?
Second.
We have a motion by Craig and a second by Larry to remove the Education Collaboration Steering Committee. All those in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. We have 10.1.4, update on staff survey for strategic plan and goals progress. Debbie had asked for this at the last meeting as well, and Jeff has an update.
So, Deb, we started talking about possibility of surveying the staff like you talked about, and then we know that Mr. Strandberg is here for the strategic plan. So we're wondering if we could roll that into his conversation on what he plans to do in his information that he provided to everybody. And that could be part of his role. I did speak to him on the phone last week about it. That staff survey was an important part of what you're talking about in the board.
Yep.
And it's really in his wheelhouse, so to speak, of what he wants to do.
All right.
So, if that's appropriate.
Yes.
Our new business this evening, 10.2.1, Kevin Strandberg with our strategic plan.
Hey, everybody.
Hello, Kevin.
Hey,
Thank you for having
Kevin.
me. It's good to finally be here in person. I apologize that I haven't been able to be here before. Some who remember, I was going to my mom's 95th birthday the last that we talked.
Yeah.
And now I gotta tell you, I took her to the Kentucky Derby. So if anybody wants to see pictures, just let me know. It was very cool.
Was she
Not the
wearing
reason why I'm here, though.
Was she wearing a hat?
Of course she was wearing
Of
a
course.
hat. She's great, and she won money.
Oh, yeah.
So, in your packet tonight, you have 3 different sections of information. The front section, the first 2 pages, are the original timeframe that Jeff and Randy and I were talking about. But on the very front page is a proposed revised schedule. I'm concerned that we're sitting at mid-May with about 3 weeks left of school. And I can tell you, not only are the kids thinking about summer, but staff are, and the community is as well. I would hate to rush this process in 3 weeks to try to get all the pertinent information. And I think we have enough time to be able to slow it down a bit, pick it up in the fall, and hit it hard and heavy in the fall. Jeff and I had a discussion about that. I think that he believes that's also a better plan. There are some things that we can do in the meantime. The first is, I have June 5th on my calendar to make it to Legendary Waters at 5 o'clock. I'm very willing to not be on the agenda, but I'm very willing to come and listen about that discussion about absenteeism. It's great information for me to gather on June 5th, so I will plan on that. The second section of the packet is information about surveying, not only for staff, but also for students and community members. We can definitely get that information revised in any way that you think is important to get the right information. Any revisions on this we'll have to be a bit careful of, because we've done this survey twice already. So we have background information twice from a great number of people in your community and from your staff. So if we leave the questions the same, then we can do some comparisons of the trends of are things going up or down and what kind of percentages are we looking at. But I'm willing to honor any kind of changes that you want to do in that survey the third time around.
Kevin, is this the full survey?
That's the full survey.
Okay.
It's 15 questions. The last sections of it are demographics. We really felt that in this process, we didn't want to overload people. We didn't want people to get to question 12 and then opt out and not complete it. So we decided to really capitalize on important questions and then tie that to listening sessions, so that this isn't the only way we're going to gather information, but it's one of the ways that we believe that we can get quantitative information from staff, students, community members. And then the third section that you have is the information from July of 2017, the last time that I was here in front of you. It includes the goals that were established at that point in time, because we need to honor past work before we look at future work. So my proposal for tonight is that I would like to try to get your feeling on whether you believe slowing down this process to be able to get it in August and September, still be done by the end of December, so that we can launch the strategic plan starting at the beginning of 2020.
I think it's a good idea, or you're not gonna get a true feel.
I'm
People are
worried about
just-
that.
People are ready to bolt, so I just don't think, I think it would be a waste of a survey.
Well, I would hate to get responses like, what's most important to you? Summer vacation.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
I agree with Craig. Just one question. So in August and September, you're going to do listening sessions.
Mhm.
And then September, you say conduct online survey, which I assume is going to be largely what you've
Yes.
presented.
Yes.
Will you potentially, I understand wanting to keep consistency, but would you be open to modifying any of the survey questions based on what you hear from the listening sessions?
Generally speaking, they kind of happen at the same point in time. Like, we open up the online survey about the same time as we make an announcement about listening sessions, so they happen at parallel times. Once we open the survey, then I don't want to change the survey
Sure.
after people have completed it. We can pace it a little differently than that if you'd like to. If you think we should do the online survey first or do it second, I'm willing to do that. I just like being able to get more bang for your buck by saying, okay, we're doing the listening sessions, and if you can't come to the listening sessions, you can complete the online survey. And then at the listening sessions, you're able to say, we already have an online survey open, so go ahead and complete it. So you kind of get, you get a double bang for your buck if you do it in parallel. But I'm willing to do it however you choose to do it.
Kevin, I have a comment, and
Thank you.
the board can, I think it's in line with Debbie's previous ask for an evaluation of the current work that's been done. And that kind of aligns with, we're gonna move forward, and it's not gonna be too far off the path we're already on in terms of our large vision and goals. But to move forward in knowing what we've done and how it's been happening, and if it's been effective or not, I think that piece needs to be included in this part, maybe with the board.
Yes, I agree. I'll make sure that we include that, especially at the board session. We also need to review mission, vision, values, and belief statements. Those are also really important things to say. We need to honor the past, but we also need to say, is it current now? So I've made a note of that. I'll make sure that we include that on an agenda item. I agree. Cindy?
I would like to see a question put in here. Next on our agenda is going to be the collaboration agreements with the Red Cliff Tribal Council. So this happens to come a little bit sooner. But what I'm looking for is, what are the people, and since the survey is going out, what are the people expecting of the tribal council and the school board? You know, what is their main, how did I say that, Jeff? What was their main?
What's our role?
No, what do they want? What do they expect? Not what they expect.
Was it their common,
I want to make sure.
their common goals that they would come up and share with each other? In other words, the board would say, these are our goals or interests, and then the council would come back and say, well, these are our issues, interests, taken amongst themselves, rather than saying, we'd like you to do this. They can do their own assessment on saying, these are some of our issues that we're
Would it be, is it like, what common goals do you see the school board and the tribal council having for, asking the community, do they see commonality?
Would be a common goal that we could work towards for our children.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Where do we find that common ground?
Something in that line, or.
I think that's a great idea. Adding questions is not difficult at all.
Okay.
Because we don't have any comparative data of those, but by changing a question that has already been on the survey twice, I would prefer to leave those as they are. I'm happy to add another question. Remembering that we're probably not going to do that survey until August or September. Is that timing still okay, Cindy?
Yeah, because we're still working on addressing it.
We've been working on it a long time.
It's the first time it's on the agenda.
Yeah. So I would be happy to draft one for you to look at a future meeting before the survey goes live. And then you can wordsmith that if you choose. Adding one, I think, is going to be just fine.
So are you saying we're going to have a board meeting with you? We'll be scheduling another time to meet with you before this rolls out?
I'll make sure that you have the question. If you want me here, I'd be happy to deliver the question. I'm thinking that the work that the board is going to do with me is much more fall-based, not summer-based. So after we gather some information, then we can have a board meeting and talk about, this is what we've learned so far. This is the information that we're getting back from community and staff. And then evaluate the current goals. Talk about what mission, vision, values, and beliefs are, and then talk about what are the goals for the future. So I see that as a fall event. But I will provide the verbiage of a question to be added to the survey, probably for your June meeting, so that we can get that taken care of. And then if you want me at the June meeting, I'm happy to come and we can go through the survey questions if there's anything else that you want to change as well.
Kevin, I just want to, and Nicole, we talked about this, I think, a few months ago, about actually retaining you to do follow-up work. And I thought the follow-up work was not going to be creating a new strategic plan, that we were really satisfied with where we were with the old strategic plan, but that the follow-up work was going to be more putting meat on the bones as far as an implementation plan. And so I'm looking at this, and it's not until December that you and the superintendent are going to formulate an implementation plan for each strategic priority. And I'm just thinking out loud here. Does it make sense for us to go back and do all these listening sessions and surveys when those aren't really going to do much as far as helping us on an implementation plan? Those are going to inform us as to whether or not the stakeholders still believe that our strategic plan is current and makes sense. And I thought that we had kind of come to the conclusion that we were happy with that strategic plan, but just wanted to put in an implementation plan with timetables and that sort of thing. Did I mishear that?
Last meeting or 2 meetings ago, we had
like
option A, option B, and option A was that, exactly what you're explaining, where we moved forward with just action implementation.
Right.
And then option B was we do the full gamut, and the board thought that at this time, we should do the full gamut. We haven't done that in over 5 years.
Okay.
And really, it should be done at least every 5 or 6 years to get new input. And I agree, that's where it comes into play with the evaluation piece, is that we don't have anything to evaluate because we don't have anything other than our goals and priorities and child data and report card and things like that. So I agree.
So if we could do, kind of maybe something after December of 2019, if, there could be some follow-up on what that implementation plan actually is and looks like and how the board feels about that.
Yes, for sure.
Thanks.
Do you still have all our notes from our conversation, 5 years ago? Because we talked about specific concerns that we had that were things that were happening or were not happening in our district. And we talked about where we wanted to go. And I think it's important to kind of have a chance to reflect and go, has anything changed? What is it that has changed? Or have we made any progress through our intention, even though we maybe didn't have an action plan that was being acted on, but we've certainly had intent, through this. So I don't know if there's an opportunity to do that or to.
I think it's kind of a sub-part. It's
Yeah.
like what Glenn's talking about. There's this whole lane of moving down the strategic plan, but there's this kind of like, we need your help right now. And I want to put it frankly, but I think that's where we've kind of been asking for the last couple months, is to say, we need that piece.
Okay. Let me think a little bit about that,
Yeah,
and I can get back to you and Jeff in a couple of days. To answer your question, Debbie, I was getting ready for this over the weekend, and look at, yes, I still have your notes.
I hope you did. I figured you might.
So yes, I do have them in my scribble, but yes, I do
Okay.
have them. So maybe on that note, we might want to set up a time that Jeff, Nicole, you and I maybe can have a phone conference even in the next week or so. I'm very willing to do some work right now, especially related to that. Where are we at right now, and what pieces do we need in place, even though we're now saying that the actual strategic planning process is going to move to the fall.
Mm-hmm.
So let's try to set that up. I'd be happy to do that. I think it's a good precursor to the work in the fall.
Mhm.
So yeah, I'm happy to do that.
I really want that.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Then we can make sure that we're set up for the fall process as well.
Right.
I would just hope that let's just pick a couple things and do it very well. I just don't like this being all over. We've had so many conversations about this in the 8 years or 9 years I've been here, and we're all over the place. And I always go back to this, there's a 1,000-pound elephant in a room, and let's everybody acknowledge that we have a 1,000-pound elephant in a room, and let's fix this. And in my eyes, we have this chronic absenteeism. That should be, in my eyes, should be what I would like to focus on, is let's fix this problem, and then let's pick something else. What's the next big problem? I mean, it seems like we're putting the cart in front of the horse all the time, and I mean, let's just get to the basics of figuring out, why aren't these kids in the building? Why don't they want to come to the building? Let's just keep it simple.
So maybe like pick the top 2 priorities
Correct,
instead
yeah.
of all 4.
Yeah, and like Cindy said, we want to have this collaboration. Well, we started doing that with the tribal council, and if you don't draw a line in the sand and there's consequences for these actions, it will never change. There has to be consequences for the parents, for the guardians. And I know everybody's sick and tired of me talking about this, but we're just beating our head against the wall on the same problem year after year after year. And I would really like for someone to come up and say, and just tell me flat out, why aren't these kids in the building, or why don't they want to come to the building? So we can at least address that. And that stems right back to our open enrollment issues. It's all about people coming into the building or the lack of people coming into the building. I mean, you got 2 huge things. you
Well,
had
that's
this.
why it's good to do another survey
Correct.
after
Yeah.
5 years from now.
Yeah,
So
I
let's
just-
see what those new
Thanks for
reasons
letting me
are.
vent.
I'm with you on that, Craig. The Harvard Business Review says organizations that have 10 strategic priorities work on 0 of them. Those that have 5 work on 2 of them. Those that have 2 work on 2 of them.
Mhm.
So, it gives you a really clear indication of concentrate on something and make a difference and then move on to
Mhm.
something else.
Mhm.
It doesn't have to be 12 things. It doesn't have to be 5 things. It doesn't have to be 4 things, which is what you guys have always selected. I would even challenge you to say, in the next 18 months, what are you going to do about absenteeism?
Mhm.
Period. In 18 months, let's make a difference in it. And frankly, maybe that's what we concentrate on for the next 18 months. And then we say, let's develop a clear strategic plan that starts in 2021. That's the sort of thing that school boards need to be creative about, to problem solve, not just make policy. So let's think about that a little bit. If we do a phone conversation about it, let's see how you want to do that. I'm very willing to change my contract with you in order to do that sort of thing. So yeah, let's tackle the problem rather than just create a document that isn't going to go anywhere.
Thank you. Thanks for
So at
listening.
least at this point in time, I would say 2 steps. The first is, we'll do a phone conference. It'll probably be early next week. That's best for me, but we'll set that up. And then second of all, I would like you to think about slowing down the process at least until fall for a full strategic plan, because people are just not thinking about it now.
And maybe between now and then, it might be possible to come up with an action plan over the next 18 months to address absenteeism. With like a real action plan, like here are the 8 things we're gonna do, and who's gonna do them, and what
Yep.
the time frame is, and
And
what the
we've got-
measurables are.
We've
And
got
how
a
we're
group
going to measure it.
working
right,
on
Nicole?
it, you know?
Right,
It's
right.
been- Yeah,
So-
so it's a good team effort.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think it'd be great if you're there then on June 5th to be able to hear
Yeah.
the work that's being done and some of the challenges.
At this point in time, I have time, 5 o'clock, right?
June
5
5th.
o'clock?
5 o'clock on
Yep.
It's my
June 5th.
retirement
June 5th.
party.
Great.
My retirement party's in.
Are there any more
Second.
questions for Kevin?
Thank you, Kevin.
You bet.
Do we have
Anything for tonight?
consensus on
Debbie?
moving it to the fall? I mean,
I-
is
I
that
think there is.
something, I think we have
Yeah.
consensus about
Yeah, I
moving it
think
to
we're
the
all
fall.
in
Okay.
consensus with this timeline
If you want to copy
presented.
of my notes, just let me know, Debbie.
You just
okay?
don't throw those away yet. I'm not done with that yet.
Okay, deal.
Yeah,
Thanks
we're
very
gonna,
much.
we're gonna ask for action on Kevin's strategic planning timeline that was presented this evening.
I make a motion to move the timeline of the strategic planning with Kevin Strandberg to the fall. Extend it out to the beginning of next school year.
Could we add that between now and the fall, though, to work on the absenteeism issue as far as developing an action plan? Is that,
Just a point of reference, I would say I don't know that we know that yet. I think that the next step there
Okay.
is a phone call
Yep,
to see where that sits.
that's, I'd say this is separate and
Okay.
that's separate.
We could bring
two
that-
separate things?
Yeah.
We would bring that
Okay.
forward at another
Okay.
item.
Okay,
Yep,
sounds
so-
good.
So the
this is
motion
just-
is by Debbie just to move forward with the revised strategic planning
Revised.
timeline that we received tonight.
Yes.
Second.
Second by Craig. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you, Kevin.
You bet.
10.2.2 is the collaboration agreement with the Red Cliff Tribal Council.
And this is mainly a lot of discussion that we've been talking about.
So, in the past, we had the MOU, and I think Craig hit on it earlier, and I think Kevin reinforced it. The MOU previously had 13 or 14 items that were, some were manageable and some were not. And then, of course, that whole dialogue and communication, at the end of the 5th year, it stopped. So the board was in discussion about, we were in discussion about bringing that back, but maybe not calling it an MOU, more of a collaborative effort. And so the discussion tonight will be, how do you want to proceed with that? And, who would you want to communicate with the tribe and others to begin that dialogue again?
What's in place right now? You go to meetings of the education committee?
There's a monthly JOM, Johnson O'Malley meeting, the first Wednesday of the month. That is with the committee, it's a parent committee. But right now with the tribal administration, we have no set meeting
Okay.
at this time.
And I do believe that we should have something set with the tribal council, because that plays a big part in our community.
Mm-hmm.
I know the MOU didn't work, but I'm thinking, like I was talking to him about, getting a survey back from the parents asking what they expect, what they would like to see as the top priority from the tribal council and the school working together.
Yeah.
And attendance, like I have on my list, is a big priority too, and that's a good place to start, right there. Working with them to see where they're at with attendance, where we're at with attendance. And this group that's coming up now talking about attendance, that's a step forward already. They're already in play with that, so. But that would be just one little step at a time, one little milestone, because before it was too much, going everywhere, like they were saying, and it didn't work.
Do we want to have a subcommittee to maybe look at drafting something of what they envision this collaboration being? We can appoint a subcommittee.
I just want you to keep in mind that, I thought that the last agreement that we had just didn't work because there was just too much in it. And nobody knew what each other was supposed to do and what was to be accomplished there. I think that if the school board has tasks that they have to do, then they should do them. If the tribal council has tasks to do, then they should do it. I think it's got to be spelled out like that. I don't want a big wordy document like we had last time. And we had tons of partners. We only need Redcliffe and school board. That's what I like to see. It could be simple as 3-4 pages rather than the document we had. Nobody knew what each other was supposed to do. And when you go to one meeting, they pointed the finger. If you go to another meeting, you pointed the finger. So nobody knew what the responsibilities were. So let's see if we can get that clarified.
It feels to me kind of like this meeting that's going to happen June 5th, what the school, the teachers are bringing forward and having it out at Legendary Waters. Is kind of like an opportunity to open that door, that community people will be there from all communities, I hope. And to be able to see this as our problem.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And to start framing it as what are things that we can work on together? What's one priority that the council would like to see happen? How could we? I mean, I'm just seeing that this could be a really excellent opportunity for us to focus on one thing.
One thing at a
Rather than
time,
doing
yeah.
something, I mean, this is big. I'm assuming you guys have put a lot of work into this and have a lot of information. Why not make that an opportunity to really say, this is everybody's. It's all our kids. And it affects everybody in this district. So, I don't know.
Maybe after the meeting on the 5th, we can revisit how to move forward with this.
That's what I would like to do. I would like to see what takes place on the 5th and see what the expectations are.
Do we plan,
What
is
is
it
the
possible?
5th Tuesday? We could bring.
It's a Wednesday.
7 days a week.
So we'll have policy the next night. I don't know if they'll have any
Yeah.
Yeah.
results that fast.
2 days before the last day of school.
But would it be possible beforehand at all to plant any seeds with the, the tribal council's gonna be there, is that what you said? Eric? The tribal council is already planning to be there, or you've invited them to?
We've invited them. It says, the session is open to all community members and reg will be present, yes, the tribal council will be there.
But what if would it make sense to say to the council, this is something that the school board would like to work together to help solve? We hope you are able to attend the meeting. We will have members there also. I don't know, just plant a seed.
Want me to draft a letter?
Sounds like they're planning to be there, and maybe it would just be a good thing to let them know that
He's
we're planning.
inviting them,
Right.
yeah,
I mean,
so-
they already said yes, right?
Yeah, we'd have to post it if we're gonna all
Yeah.
be there.
I won't be there,
We could do that.
And if I may, Eric, did you mention, will they have an official meeting that night? The
Tribal council.
Tribal council, will they have a quorum? Will they post it? Will they have an official meeting, or is it?
That I don't know.
Okay, I thought that's what you
so
said.
we need to
Well,
check
it just
that.
says right
Maybe
here,
we could-
and this is what Rick gave me to
Yeah.
read to you guys, so it just says the session is open to all community members and the
Rick
Red Cliff
Erickson.
Tribal Council will be present and in session, so.
In
I
session.
assume that
Oh.
they've
Yeah,
all
they'll be in
been-
session.
Yeah.
So if you
Is
do
that from
post
Rick
it,
Peterson or Rick Erickson? Sorry,
Eric.
Rick Erickson.
Well, Rick Erickson gave this to me to read to you. I'll touch base with him and maybe I can send you guys a message about that then.
so is this gonna be a posted meeting for the school board?
I don't know.
And if it is, if we do have a quorum, then it should state in there that no action will be
Right.
taken, and we're gonna get back into
Yep.
Right.
with the MOU. They're gonna want us to take action on certain items, and that just, it can't take
Yep.
place, like, it just doesn't work that way. I mean, so,
It's just a listening session?
it's a listening session, but if we show up as a quorum, it needs to be posted.
Yep. And that no action will be taken.
I won't go, then we won't have a quorum. No, I don't know necessarily know that I'd want to sit there in session. I'd rather be there as a part of the audience listening, and let's see what is said there then. If we warrant a meeting, let's plan one later on. Let's see what kind of information comes out of this.
I don't think we were planning on it being a
That's why I
board
was
meeting.
asking
session.
Eric what he
They'll be
saw
in
as
session,
our
tribal
role.
council, but not
What
us.
is our
If we were
role
gonna
there?
go there,
Because it's likely there
What
could
is
the
be.
body would
what
have
is
to
the
post it.
Yeah.
board's role?
So when you clarify that, could you let us know?
Yes,
Because
I
if
will.
you're extending an invitation to the board and there are 4 of us there, we need to post that it's technically an open meeting. Because there will be a quorum of us. So we need that clarity.
Yeah.
Another point of clarification. So last month, when the ETAL group, every teacher a leader, that's what the group is formed, and it is within our school budget. We do provide a budget for the committee. I did talk to Rick Erickson. Once I learned that they were out in Radcliffe meeting. Rick did assure me that he would come in front of the board. The group would come here as though they're going there. So is that something else beyond that meeting? Maybe we would have a listening session here, because they
Yeah.
haven't really reported their findings to us. They've been working on this for 2 years. They have a ton of data that they can provide you. We haven't done that yet. Eric, is that something that it reports to the school board also? Because the ETAL group has not come in front of the school board to present their findings yet.
Would you like us to do that?
To the board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that could be second from, we could do the meeting there, they would work with the council there, then they would come here to share their findings here, and then beyond that, we could come up with some form of plan to come together on the data. Because you really haven't seen the data yet.
So I guess the real question, Jeff, would be, is there any value to be gained by having board members attending in the audience, not as a meeting, but just and potentially a quorum, but a quorum in the audience? Or should we just wait until they conclude this and come back to the school board with their findings from that meeting?
So 3 of our members can go without it being a quorum, right? Without it being, we don't have to call it a meeting. And so 3 of our members can go. So we'd have to make sure that we did that, and then, at least some of us would be able to bring that information.
I still would
here.
like to know what our role is, because
Yeah.
I don't want to be sitting there and people are asking us questions, and that's
No,
not
I
the
don't
intention
want-
of this
No,
gathering,
it
and
would
I
take
fear
away
that.
from, yeah,
Okay.
it would take away from it.
So maybe we make them separate.
Maybe their group can give us a recommendation on that event, because I really think that's a piece of it. And then this whole moving forward with the collaboration agreement has another direction. I agree that it'll be great information to kind of fuel the collaboration.
I also think going there as a school board just might cloud some of the issues that
Absolutely.
could come up there.
Yep.
Mhm.
But I like this idea of you saying, you know, we had too much before.
Well, we
And if
did.
we can just have one thing that
Yeah.
we want to focus on,
Absolutely.
it's perfect timing.
We don't need a judge to sign off and okay it for us. Something that makes sense.
If you do decide to go to the June 5th meeting, can you email Linda? And we can compile the numbers, and if it gets to a number 4, we'll let Nicole know immediately, and then
She'll tell who, she'll pick straws and
on
tell
TV.
somebody to stay home.
I'll grab a hamburger and slip in.
I'll watch it on
Yeah.
TV.
Will it be televised?
Oh, yeah.
In
Live stream?
Radcliffe it is, yes.
Oh,
Oh, perfect.
it's my retirement party. So I won't be there.
So I don't think we're asking for any action tonight
No.
on this,
No.
just discussion.
would it be appropriate then to let Mr. Everson know then, they're meeting on Wednesday, June 5th. The following Monday is our regular board meeting, June 10th. Would you recommend the group coming here at that point? Because it's hot, we're right there.
Yep.
The discussion's all within that week.
Sure.
Mr. Erickson did say he wanted to come in front of the board, school board.
Is that enough time?
From June 5th to the next meeting?
Which
Yeah.
five
June
days?
10th,
June 10th.
I would think so.
just to give us a flavor
Yeah,
for
I
what.
would think so,
yeah.
sure.
Okay,
Yep.
perfect.
Thank you.
Moving on, 10.2.3, Winsled ownership request.
Make a motion to table.
Can you guys give me a little update on that?
Sure.
I'm unaware, please.
So back in 2000, when the school board, the town, and the Ferry Line came together to get this federal grant that purchased the existing large wind sled, they also at the same time bought what's called the Nelson sled
Yeah.
for $50,000. And what I'm hearing, and it hasn't come before the town board yet, it's going to be tomorrow night, is that the Nelson, that Arnie has of the opinion that it is obsolete and has asked the town to give it back to the Nelson family.
For $50,000.
For,
Go ahead.
I think that, and so the town board is going to discuss tomorrow night whether it makes sense to just give it, or, and if they do, obviously they'd need the school board to okay that, but I think that they probably are going to decide to put it up for bid, and then split the proceeds probably 3 ways.
There's
Yeah, so
a,
that's the
So-
background.
the administration's been in contact with the town administration, and they don't have enough information yet, and we don't have enough information yet, and so
Right.
we're not ready to
Does the
move
district,
forward.
does the district need a legal opinion on that? I mean, this was federal dollars that paid for this initial
This
grant.
was federal dollars, and I,
It is local, just regular tax.
Pardon?
It was just regular general fund.
From our standpoint, but the federal part.
From the
they-
initial grant?
Yeah, the
That
80,
purchased the building and the big sled and
Yeah.
the Nelson original sled?
that was 80% federal money.
Yeah, that was a total,
Table is tabled.
Our share
I think.
was just local money, right, right, but I'm not certain that the feds aren't gonna say, you know, you
Well,
get 10,000
let's
for it.
get
We
more
want.
information.
Yeah,
So
thank you.
Debbie's made a motion to
Table.
table it.
I'll second it.
Thank you, Glenn.
Ben.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. 10.2.4, consider deputy election clerk for 2019-2020.
So talking with Linda on this, we'd like to move this to the month of November, as we've done in the past. The election clerk is for spring elections, and we usually do that in November. And then she would then contact Bayfield County to work out the details for nominations and stuff like that in January. So it's probably a little bit too early on there.
So, move to table?
Second.
We have a motion by Glenn to table, a second by Debbie. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. 10.2.5, consider letters of resignation. We have 2.
ones?
So need a motion
Yeah.
before
PBIS
discussion?
ones?
Yes.
Make motion to accept.
We have a motion by Debbie,
Second.
second by Craig.
No, explanation, please.
Discussion?
Okay, so both individuals were PBIS coaches, and not unusual, PBIS coach. They have, they'll they'll work PBIS as a coach for maybe 1 or 2, maybe 3 years, and then they'll resign due to other reasons. And I didn't speak to the two of them at all on why they resigned, but it is a coaching position within the district. It is a coaching position within the district, and upon their resignation, it gives us proper time now in the next 2 weeks to put it out to the staff to see if there are any other interest for next year as a coach.
Please do.
Okay.
Thanks, Jeff.
Any more discussion?
So this is a typical cycle.
PBIS coaches, 2 to 3 years at the most.
Okay,
Oh,
it's
okay.
not a signal that something is amiss so much as it just is a cycle.
Well,
of
they
people.
haven't come to me at all that
Okay.
signaled anything that was wrong, unless Shelley can add to it.
PBIS and I talked to both, actually all three of them, because Trent's moving, so he was the coordinator. Liz and Careful is submitting him the time to devote to it. I think also other initiatives, ACP at the high school level, here is the board and that. There is not a lot of commitment in time, but enough for, there's a lot of movement. They just felt because somebody else had too much more time and attention.
Do we have others that would like to be, that are interested in it?
I've been talking to staff members, some of our newer staff, and that's what it entails, a lot of it is analyzing the data and doing recommendations, and working with the students before it comes to the kids and get parents right. I think we're trying to be invited to the island and middle school, we don't have the time to go up to the school. I think some of that fell onto the other school. They also got the time to do the roles effectively.
The motion is by Debbie, second by Craig, to accept both letters of resignation.
Could you split them up, because I can only vote for one.
I was just thinking that. So we'll, yeah, the first one will be Liz Bodine. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carries. The second one is Karen DePerry. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions?
Aye.
Motion carries. Number 11, adjourn to executive session in accordance with Wisconsin Statute 19.851C, considering employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over which the governmental body has jurisdiction or exercises responsibility. 1, district administrator and school board evaluations. 2, approve special education assistant paraprofessional recommendation. 3, student-related bus incident. 4, teacher performance evaluations.